saying from the other songs.
Mike's Daily Podcast.
Episode 474. It's Sunday, February 24th, 2013, 1 p.m. Pacific Time. Internet talk radio for your imagination. Mike Matthews broadcasting from the last place on Earth located somewhere in Podcastro Valley, California. Today we hear from Benita, the Disgruntled Fiddle Player, the Brewmaster. Plus, we bring you the segment Into an Interview with the founder of the amazing band Ages and Ages, Tim Perry.
Mike's Daily Podcast.
And Alabama, the state in which I lived in for 2 years, might get a wind farm. Its first one. How scary.
Mike's Daily Podcast.
The developers of this wind farm say that advances in technology will allow their project to succeed in a part of the United States which has not been very green. It's the least developed area for wind energy, yet there's so much wind. And there's these little things called tornadoes, and they can be the cause of a chagrin from time to time, especially when they take your house away, which hopefully that won't happen.
Mike's Daily Podcast.
To anyone listening to this show, or to me, because I still have a house there, in which I happen to have a cool renter in.
Mike's
So the north
Daily
of Alabama,
Podcast.
and the northeast particularly, is where they're going to be putting in a lot of these windmill farms. Possibly. We'll see how that goes. Look who just walked in.
Hi, Mike. It's Benita, the rodeo queen. How y'all doing?
And it's a disgruntled fiddle player, tell you what.
What?
You know, we could harness the wind coming out of your mouth, and we could generate a lot of electricity, even though I think that that's a stupid way to get electricity.
Why?
Because wind, who cares about wind? I hate wind. Wind messes up my hair.
You don't ever have your hair shown. You mess up your hair wearing that cowboy hat that you have on all the time.
That's true, that's true. Touche, Mike.
Wow, you used a French word.
Oh, no.
Mike, I like wind. In fact, I just posted that on Facebook, and I got over 30 comments.
Okay, that's amazing. Because I post stuff on Facebook all the time. I never get any comments. I never get any likes. Everyone just ignores me.
Mike, I just posted that I was talking to you on Facebook, and I got 150 comments and 72 likes.
Well, that's good. That makes me feel better. How come you post stuff and get people commenting, and I post stuff nobody ever hears about it?
Yeah, Mike, that's really sad. I just talked about how sad I was, posted that on Facebook. I have 3,000 comments and 472 million likes.
Wow, I must be doing something wrong. Look who else just walked in.
Hello there, Mike. I make the root beer. I'm the brewmaster. Oh, boy. And I make my root beer harnessing the power of the wind.
That's wonderful. So you have like a windmill that catches the wind outside of the last place on Earth, and that powers your root beer making factory?
No, Mike. I pass gas a lot. So, oh, boy.
Yeah. Okay. I don't want to know how you're harnessing that.
Mike, I'm pretty disgusted what the Brewmaster just said. In fact, I posted that on Facebook and got 80 billion comments and 742 billion likes. I'm popular.
Oh, God. I'm irate. Well, if you hate Facebook, if you love wind power, whatever you'd like to comment about that, you can comment at my email, mikesdailypodcast@gmail.com. Also email me there if you'd like to be a guest on the show or if you'd like to sponsor the show. We have an availability for you. Also, you can check out our website, mikesdailypodcast.com. Go there to find the link in iTunes where you can listen to this show. And if you do subscribe to the show in iTunes, why, you get the latest, newest Mike's Daily Podcast sent directly to you. And also you can rank the show and tell us what you think of the show. And more people actually find out about the show if you do that as well in iTunes. Also, there is a link to where to find us on Facebook and the Facebook page, which nobody knows about anyway. Also, where to find us on Yelp, Twitter, and YouTube. Also, you can find out where to find us on the internet radio stations KNJO Radio and XRQK that play us daily as well. Links to all that, as well as our blog and our daily podcast picture at mikesdailypodcast.com.
Into an Interview.
Hello?
Good morning, Tim Perry.
Yes, that's me.
It's Tim Perry of Ages and Ages.
Hey.
Hello, it's Mike Matthews from Mike's Daily Podcast.
How is it going?
Excellent. How's it going with you? Are you in Portland?
I am in Portland. It's a very rainy Portland day right now. I'm I'm just sort of being thankful that I'm not out in it.
Oh, gosh. So do you just sort of stay away from the outside then? You just stay inside and work on music?
No, it's kind of impossible to stay completely out of it. I mean, one gets wet when one lives in the Northwest, but today I get to just kind of hang out in my cozy room and look outside and think about, I guess, all the good that comes from rain, except from getting wet.
Yeah, you have the nice green hillsides.
Exactly. Trees, foliage, and the like. How are you?
I'm doing good.
Good.
I have one question about Portland. What do you love about it and hate about it?
Wow. Honestly, I love way too much about Portland. It's my home. It's a great place. I like the attitude out here in the Northwest. I was born and raised in it, so I mean, it's just this sort of. I think it's generally more sort of a creative, open-minded, and sort of has a slightly more isolated vibe to it. People. I think there's just a long history of people just sort of doing their own thing out here, but at the same time, supportive of everybody else doing their own thing. So it's not exactly like a, militant sort of keep away from me kind of vibe. It's more just like a, hey, man, I don't know. Everybody just sort of like generally peaceful and happy and whatever, nice to each other. But I guess, let's see what I don't like about it. I could probably go in pretty deep there too, but sometimes I wonder if the weather maybe has, like I said, since I was born and raised out here, if it's just had the sort of impact on me that I wouldn't even know because I've never really experienced anything different. Of course, I've been around the country and the world, but I've never really spent long amounts of time in pure sunshine or even just like a consistent weather pattern, where it's dependable that like, well, there are no clouds in the sky, which indicates that it'll be sunny for the rest of the day, at least, if not the week or month. But out here, it's just like, I think that's why people layer up because, you might have to take layers off or add layers as the day goes on. Who the hell knows?
That means you get to wear some interesting pieces of clothing. Like
yeah, totally.
You don't have to decide. You can just grab everything. You can just take
exactly.
everything.
Yeah, you can wear all your choices and just sort of derobe as you like or whatever. Like I said, add, subtract, yeah.
And the summers don't get horribly hot, do they, or do they?
Pretty mild, but they're beautiful out here. When it happens, usually it takes a while. Usually what happens is there'll be an awesome spring day sometime in March. And it's just like, it's like in the 70s and it's like just beautiful and sunny and everybody does the things that people do in the sun and everybody tends to be like, well, here it is, spring is here. And then typically after that sunny day and after, I don't know, like the weather gods hear enough people saying that, then it just pisses rain for the next like 3 months, just relentlessly, just gray, horrible rain until about mid-late June, and then, yeah.
Okay, I don't understand. I don't understand what happened, but like because I don't have television. I have I hook my TV up to the internet and I watch Hulu, and Hulu had Portlandia's third season on, and but for some reason it just had like the first 2 episodes and then nothing. But the first episode was really funny. It was a bunch of people, like wherever there was a beam of sunlight that hit the ground, they would, set up a bunch of barbecues and, they'd be playing and having a great time. And then all of a sudden the beam of light would move and they'd pick up everything and follow it. And like if the beam of light was in the middle of a road, they would just set up everything in the middle of the street. And it was a funny little bit.
Yeah, it's probably slightly accurate. It's not really accurate.
Do you see those guys filming around you all the time up there?
I see that occasionally, or I see, I see those guys out and about. And of course, Leader Kinney was big.
Oh yeah, and that's
around here way
Brownstein.
before then. So yeah,
Carrie Brownstein.
yeah. So so yeah, she's been a big deal out here for years.
Wow. So your band is you, of course, and Daniel Hunt, Graham McKenzie, Adam Thompson, Sarah Riddle, Rob Oberdorfer, Kate O'Brien Clark, and Johanna Kunis. Wait,
It is pronounced Kunyan. Yeah, those are some members who have graced the band. There are others, and there have been some who have come and gone and come back again and then gone again. And it's sort of a rotating, very large communal cast of people. Kind of, it's a very like a congregation kind of a thing. You know, sometimes people are there and sometimes they're not.
Sometimes they go and they come back.
Yeah, it's as though they all have their own lives.
Wow.
Yeah, things to do, ways to, people got to eat, live. You can't always travel and play, but yeah, generally there's about 7 or so people in this band.
How did it get started, Tim?
Well, it started a few years back, about 3 or 4 years ago. I pretty much started talking to a lot of those people that you mentioned individually and just sort of slowly amassing a group and an idea and an energy about this project. And, while that was going on, I was also kind of trying out some of these songs with other people. No Nostalgia, which I think you mentioned
yes.
in one of the emails you sent.
I told you I loved it so much.
Yeah, it's probably the first song we started working on. There were various parts of the process with that song, but one of the most memorable when I actually kind of started to mess with the harmonies and tried all the harmonies was, of all things, with my family up in Seattle when I was visiting for Christmas. We were all gathered around the piano, and I asked my mom to get on the piano. I scrolled out the lyrics, what I had so far, and just sort of kind of assigning parts to, my brother and my sister and my mom, and that's sort of really the real birth of that song.
Wow.
So, songs, these things, you say how to start. They started in a lot of different ways at a lot of different times, but that's one of the origins for sure.
And I'm told that our president likes that song too, or he has it on his Spotify playlist.
Yeah, that's something I have no idea how that happened. I was literally just as sort of, I found out about with the rest of anybody else who found out about it. I knew nothing about it, which is funny because I read something where the person, that had essentially sort of organized all the songs and the tracking and all that stuff had said, we checked first with all the artists to make sure there was no, I forget the most recent thing at the time. When the most recent, I think it was one of the Republicans or something chose a song, which of course the artist was like, no. I think Ted Nugent's the only musician in the world that apparently likes the Republican Party, but, so, I guess she said she checked with everybody to make sure that there'd be no debacle like that or whatever, but they never checked with us. So,
and I think the bass player for the Counting Crows likes the Republican Party.
Ah, okay, sorry, yeah, I left that out.
Because I remember in 2004 during the John Kerry George W. Bush competition. He was so anti-Kerry. He was how we can't elect him. He wasn't really a Vietnam vet and blah blah blah.
Right. Yeah. No. And whereas George Bush was,
yeah,
and still is to this day, I think one of just a shining example of truth and excellence.
Excellent. And then, so you have possibly a fan in the White House. That's awesome.
At least one of his interns, yeah. If not, maybe the man himself.
Well, I'm a fan of this song, too, and I want to play it right now.
Okay, thank you.
No Nostalgia, although I can't think of a world without nostalgia. Did you know Sting once said he hated nostalgia? He said nostalgia's a bad thing.
Uh,